We're talking about protection, not just from lawsuits or creditors, but from probate, from courts, from estate taxes, opportunists.
From each other.
Yeah.
Family, from your circle of trust, like from business partners, from everything. And it's something that we tend to not address until it's too late. You've done all the necessary work to create this family bank, but what happens, or how quickly is it able to erode just based off a simple mistake or happenstance or dispute? It's making sure that your machine, the machine that you're putting into place, can't be lost due to something simple. And the truth behind that is what you don't structure, you don't control. And what you don't protect, you are just about guaranteed to lose. And the key piece is to make sure that you have the right structure in place so those things don't happen. And so as we've been talking about the family bank, is we have to protect it. And I get it. I'm showing, today we're covering both of these items. And it's because, from my perspective, this protection applies to both today and tomorrow. Key piece here is these two are very much connected, but they don't necessarily involve the same activities, same actions, same tools, but they are very much connected. And again, as we like to function, it's about guarding against lawsuits, liens, a protection against the people around you, your family trust or your family bank, and not allowing them the ability to be able to destroy what you've been able to create. So it's making sure that the right structure and guardrails are put in place so that your machine can continue to function over time. So what is that system that needs to be in place to make sure that this is sustainable? And this isn't a when I get to it opportunity. This isn't a once I've paid off my bills or once those student loans are gone. It's, hey, what is the structure you're putting in place today to safeguard those areas of assets that you've accumulated to be able to protect you now? Because as it relates to, I guess, whether it's a fire drill or a tornado, that's not something that you actually schedule to be able to guard against. It's something that you prepare for ahead of time, right? You practice that fire drill, you practice that tornado warning and where to hide and where things are and what to access. Where's the flashlight? Does the flashlight have batteries in it? Are they charged? Such that when that instance comes, because it's going to come, when that instance comes, are you prepared? So this protection is about making sure you're prepared for whatever may come. And why? Why is there a focus on making sure that we get this done today and right now? Well, it's because growth without protection, you are placing yourself in a position to where you can lose everything you've accumulated if it's not structured properly. And think about it. You could build $1 million nest egg, and with one trip and fall of a renter or one creditor coming after you or one mishap as it relates to some accident, you can then be sued and everything that you've built, everything you work for, can then crumble. And again, that's structure against lawsuits, creditors, and taxes. And we don't talk as much about taxes, but it's also making sure that the vehicles that you're creating and the assets that you're putting in play are guarded against whoever the president is in the future, whatever inflation may look like in the future, making sure that you're in a position such that you're not impacted by creditors, lawsuits, and most importantly, taxes. And then that legacy planning piece. There is going to come a time when we are no longer here. And so what is that structure that needs to be in place to make sure we are guarding against whatever that wealth transfer process needs to be, and making sure that the people that we're handing the reins over to have the proper education, knowledge, and understanding to make sure that vehicle can continue to run. And what specifically are we protecting? It's about protecting your income, protecting your assets, protecting your privacy, meaning making sure you have the right vehicle in place such that your privacy is protected, God forbid, whatever happens, so they can access whatever the entity might be, but they can't come after you personally. Where are those claims coming from? Where there are those internal actions that we want to protect, want to make sure you're protected from, but there's also those external actions and activities and claims that we want to make sure we're protected from. So when we're talking internal claims, we're talking partnerships. So what does that structure look like inside of your business to make sure that one partner can all of a sudden destroy everything that's been built? Those operational liabilities within your entities, even business debts. Making sure you're passing on assets that can flourish, not just debts that cause your family even more heartache. And then those external claims. so that those personal accidents, lawsuits, malpractice, and claims can't target your assets. Rarely talk about is making sure that these two pieces, these two places aren't commingled. You're protected from internal claims and you're protected externally, but making sure you're not mixing those personal and business activities. Your personal actions can cause piercing of the veil of your business or your internal structure. Where there's commingling, there is either structure in place for such, or we're making sure that we don't do it, so we have the right structure in place to keep things separate. And what are those asset types? There's many. Let's call it land, REITs, subject tos, rental properties, your personal vehicles. And then it's those safe assets like mutual funds, stocks, bonds. In most cases, those are fairly secure sitting at that brokerage firm. It's just that there's risk involved, which things that you can't control, like the market or market fluctuations and things like that. And then there are those items that are somewhat of moderate risk. If you've got a self-directed retirement account, you've got some decent structure inherently built inside of that self-directed retirement account, but depending on what that retirement account is invested in could determine which asset class that vehicle might be in. Meaning, if it's all tied to the stock market, it's safe from the perspective of being able to be accessed from some of those internal or external claims. But if it's built around assets like self-storage facilities or rental properties or things like that, you want to make sure that that structure is in place such that a renter or some customer can't then get through the veil and pierce your retirement account. From a real world threat scenario, imagine having a rental property, whether you have it personally, whether it's inside your LLC structure or inside of a traditional retirement account, a self-directed retirement account. And a renter has an issue for whatever, slips or whatever that issue is, there's some type of injury that occurs to the person renting that property. A lawsuit is almost guaranteed. We know that legal action is going to target all of your assets, not some. And so the key is making sure that you have the right protection in place such that it can't access your savings, your home, your future income, because all of that is risk if not protected. And what does that structure look like? It could be as simple as a trust. It could be an individualized trust or an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp. What that structure looks like is dependent upon what it is you're investing in actually, and there's preference as far as which one you should use. But the key piece is without having that trust in place, you're setting yourself up for a potential downfall. So we want to make sure we have that trust for that shielding of the asset and also so things can be handled privately. And so protecting your family bank from outside threats. Again, there are a few different ways to go about it. It could be structuring things with the proper liability protection like entities such as LLCs, S Corps, or C Corps. It could be insurance integration. It's making sure you have a properly designed cash value life insurance based product to be able to assist or support in those areas where needed. But it's also making sure that tax efficiency is a goal and or a focus for what it is you're doing. And again, anonymity, making sure that you can't be seen. But what are, I guess, some of those liability protections? And it's not a long list. It's what we all understand to be LLCs, limited liability companies or corporations, or even limited partnerships for the most case. So it's making sure that depending on the asset you have, do you have the right structure in place to make sure that if anything was to occur, you are protected. And again, this is the protection for today, the protection for right now. And as it relates to insurance integration, there's a few ways to go about this because there's many different types of insurance or an integration that can be used, especially as it relates to all of these products. And so what does that toolkit look like? What does that protection process for today, what does that structure initially need to be? It can look like a trust to keep your assets private and protected in the short term. It can, again, be a limited liability company or an S Corp or a C Corp to shield your personal assets and separate your liability. But in addition to that, it can also be insurance. Don't downplay the power that insurance has on being able to protect you from liens, tax liens and risk and such, and also title planning. Who controls what? Who are your beneficiaries? And God forbid if something would happen to you, who's next in line to be able to follow the direction that was identified. And as it relates to insurance, understanding how life insurance plays a role. Most people, when we talk about life insurance, I know not for those of you who've been following this channel for a while, but most, when we talk about life insurance, we're actually thinking death insurance, meaning if something happens to me, there's a death benefit that pays out to my beneficiaries. But life insurance is also liquid protection, meaning it's an estate, life insurance in general. If it's properly designed, properly structured, life insurance is one of the most legislatively protected asset classes that you could possibly have. Meaning, if done right, that life insurance based product will protect you from lawsuits, liens, creditors, even individuals who are trying to come after you. So the idea behind life insurance is it's an easy action to take to be able to build growth and protection inside of your process. So again, there's not a whole lot of effort required other than making sure the life insurance product that you have is properly structured and is being held by a company that in most cases a mutual life insurance company that's been around 100+ years, because they have the I'll call it the track record to make sure that whatever you've initiated or put your money in will be there for the life of. So estate tax shield, inheritance balancing, and also the immediate liquidity, the ability to be able to leverage and use when you need to be able to pay bills, use as income. God forbid if something happens to you, having the right structure for long-term care or terminal or chronic illness. All of those pieces it's a large factor. It's a simplified but large factor for you to be able to put yourself in a position to be able to handle what may come. And even though life insurance is state regulated in most cases, many provide, even though it's different by state, life insurance is one of those tools that can easily be used to allow you the protection to be guarded against being sued. To be guarded against creditors coming after you. So again, my only point there is using or leveraging life insurance is a quick way to be able to put yourself in a position to where at least you're protected from what may come from that perspective.